This is the Be Progressive Show. I'm Brandon Neal, and today we're going to be discussing how the maggots have finally overdosed on copium, and they have put together a virtual, fake Donald Trump inauguration ceremony on Facebook. Love it. Love it. Also, Donald Trump has been told that he needs to cross the Rubicon, and I don't think Donald Trump understands what that means, but we're also going to be talking about how the Trump administration got utterly fleeced on the ventilators that they purchased. They didn't even try and negotiate. Art of the deal. Anyway, all this and more next on the Be Progressive Show. And boy, do I have a fun story today. I was going to keep this story for the last story on this video, but I just can't. It's too good. We have to talk about it. So, the Trump supporters, since the election, have been having some problems coping with the fact that Donald Trump has been utterly defeated and not cheated. But, you know, how sore losers are. If there's ever even a thought that there might have been one person that cheated in one state that didn't matter, then throw out the whole election and start over. Donald Trump got cheated. So Donald Trump did not get cheated. Donald Trump got owned is what Donald Trump got. And I think it's almost 8 million votes that he lost by. So it's been tough for the MAGA community. They're all just exploding. Their heads are exploding and they're crying and they're just yelling and getting mad, and they're doing videos, and it's, oh man, delicious. Love the tears. Because that's all you've done for 4 years is run your mouth about how one of the dumbest men in the United States you think is the best president ever. Well, I'm sorry. The dumb orange waterhead is not the best president ever. And he is possibly the worst. Definitely on the top 3 list. So, what has the MAGA people done now in their latest attempt to cope with their loss of their dear cult leader, their dear orange waterhead? What have they done? They've created a Donald Trump second presidential inauguration ceremony virtually on Facebook. Glorious. I love it. This is the biggest, most pathetic joke I have ever seen. Can you imagine if a Democrat or a group of Democrats had set up a second Hillary and not? Oh man, the memes would have just never stopped, and the right would have never stopped calling everybody on the left snowflakes and that they just can't handle that they've lost and blah blah blah. And when it comes right down to it, the absolute biggest snowflake little bitches are always the right wingers. It's always that way. And now you can't cope. It's going to hurt you so much to watch Biden sworn in because you swore that Kraken was going to come out and grab Biden, but it didn't because there never was a Kraken. All there was a cracked Karen named Sidney Powell who's a fucking idiot. And she just embarrassed Trump, she embarrassed herself, and she embarrassed all of you Trumpers out there. Like, I was watching, what's his name, Brendan Dilley, like he's got kind of a big MAGA show there, and whew, they are not dealing well. They're threatening to not pay taxes, and off camera I'm sure they're threatening other violence, but yeah, this has really got under these guys' skin, and it's going to be fucking fun to watch for the next 4 years, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. I'm going to troll them, and I'm going to troll them and troll them and troll them just like they did us. So Biden sucks, and I don't think Biden's going to be a good president, but he's not Donald Trump. And that's all that matters because Donald Trump is a worthless piece of shit, and at least Biden is a half intelligent person who might be able to fix a few things before we get a progressive in there. But even if he doesn't, it's still better than handing the country to Donald Trump so he can wipe his ass with it, which is what he's done for the last 4 years. And all of his sycophants and all of his little maggots are right there just licking his crap up because they love him. Anyway, I've gone off the deep end on that. That's too funny. I laughed about that for a really long time. Anyway, moving on to more serious, more evil things. It looks like here that we have a GOP person that is in Arizona pushing for Trump to cross the Rubicon. And if, I know Trump's not familiar with that term. I know he doesn't know what that means. But for anybody else who's watching, Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon was the event that brought the end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire, ruled by an all-powerful emperor. So, no, it doesn't sound or look good when you say things like that, dum-dum. That makes all the left confirm that, yes, he is a dictator and he would love to take over. And I really do think that Trump would pull something like that if he was smart enough. The problem is Trump is not a very smart person at all and surrounds himself with people that are dumber than him. So I'm not real worried about it. I don't think anything's going to happen. But this kind of it scares me more that this kind of language and these kind of actions and this kind of support comes from Republicans who aren't completely retarded, who aren't Donald Trump, who I just can't believe that a sitting congressperson, state or federally, would say things like this that are just basically seditious, that are pushing for Donald Trump to take over, and it's just ridiculous. But I mean, I don't know how far this is going to go. I really don't. I don't think anything will come of it, like I said, but it's Trump. And what he is willing to try and not, I've stopped trying to guess that, because every time I think he's hit a wall, he busts through it like a Kool-Aid man and keeps going, further and further into fuck off dumbland. So, anyway, moving on. I found this story a little bit humorous because Donald Trump is supposed to, he's supposed to be the big deal maker. I make deals. Yeah, well, you didn't make a very good deal when it came to buying ventilators for the country. It looks like you paid about $500 million too much for the ventilators, they say. A House panel says gullible White House negotiators overpaid for Philips ventilators, and it has asked the Department of Health and Human Services Office of Inspector General to investigate evidence of fraud in the deal. Citing evidence of fraud, waste, and abuse, a congressional subcommittee investigating the federal government purchase of $646.7 million worth of Philips ventilators has asked the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of Inspector General to launch its own investigation of this deal. So the House subcommittee launched its review after ProPublica stories in March and April showed how a U.S. subsidiary of Royal Philips NV received millions in federal tax dollars years ago to develop a low-cost ventilator for pandemics, but didn't deliver it. Instead, as the coronavirus began spreading around the globe and the U.S. hospitals were desperate for more, Philips was selling commercial versions of the government-funded ventilator overseas from its Pennsylvania factory. Then, in April, despite having not fulfilled the initial contract, the Dutch company struck a much more lucrative deal to sell the government 43,000 ventilators for 4 times the price. 4 times the price. Under this new deal, ventilators that the Obama administration had agreed to buy for $3,200 apiece suddenly cost $15,000. And when this deal was announced in April, neither HHS nor Philips would say how the more expensive ventilators differed from the cheaper ones. Well, it turns out that they were functionally identical. So basically what happened is the Trump administration, being too inept to investigate or look at anything, went to Philips, said, I want X amount of ventilators. Philips sold them ventilators that was funded by the government for a much cheaper price, little over $3,200 a piece, and then jacked up the price to $15,000 a piece. The Trump administration said, great, we'll take them. Done. Yep. Dumb. Art of the deal. That guy right there. So, wow. And well, the last story I'll look at in this video, we were talking earlier about the San Francisco, this whole thing that's been floated, the drug overdoses are far more deadly than COVID and blah, blah, blah. More drug overdoses than COVID deaths, and it's COVID lockdown that's made everybody go on drugs, and it's the COVID lockdown that's made everybody overdose. These are all the right wing. The right wing is now just looking for any number of deaths in any scenario whatsoever that number is higher than COVID, and then trying to compare the two. And trying to compare drug overdoses to a communicable disease and a pandemic is fucking retarded, really, to be honest. And it's like saying that it sucks because my grandmother's going to catch a drug overdose off that neighbor and die. No, she's fucking not. So let's stop this false equivalency. Let's stop acting like children and putting the pandemic in a political box. And let's start just maybe treating the pandemic like we should. How about that? All right, we're going to wrap it up. This is the Be Progressive Show. I am Brandon Neal. It is Monday. I will be live tonight. I will be live every single night this week, starting at probably around 6 o'clock. So join me, and we will go from there. Have a good one.